This is that Flykingi and T.S. Madison, baby. And we got a question. Is it on? Because we just...
Woo! That was a lot of tea. How y'all doing? It's your boy, the Flykingi, coming at you live from the castle while I sit on my throne and mind all of y'all business as long as you're staying out of mine. And tonight, I got a special treat for y'all. We're going to talk about the all-new show, Chasing Dallas. Now, it comes from the Chasing Empire. They have Chasing Atlanta, and now they're in Dallas with their first season, and it follows the stories of, I believe, about 5 African-American openly gay males who are very entrepreneurial and living in Dallas, Dallas, Texas. And I was very interested in the story because they're very entrepreneur and gay and black like myself. So, of course, I'm going to review it. So let's get right into it. It starts off, and the first character, this is the introductory episode. So it's just basically giving you character introductions and preparing you for the story arc for the season, like with any other show. So it starts off with Woody Lee. Woody Lee body is fucking amazing. Like, if he was out in LA, like, I would definitely call him for how to get that waist snatch like that. His waist snatch, he got a fat ass, he looks amazing. So he comes up and he's a personal trainer. He introduced himself. He had his little off-white coming off the shoulder. I said, okay, off-white on your off days. You know, I was with that. So he comes through and he talks about how he got into his fitness journey and being a fitness trainer through being in a relationship where his boyfriend gave him an ultimatum of, you need to lose weight or this relationship isn't working for me. Now, wait a minute. Niggas ain't shit. Y'all know I'm from the house of Nas. N-A-S. Niggas ain't shit. Now, if a nigga say that, you need to run head for the hills, sis. Run for the hills, because that even if you lose the weight, if it's not something mentally, spiritually, or emotional that's an issue with your relationship, or something with the energy is off, but if it's something physical, sis, if you fix it, he probably still either not going to want you, or he doesn't really want you to begin with. He just wants to be in a relationship and wants the benefits of either the relationships or the benefits of being with a bitch like you. So don't get played. You don't want to be Monopoly, sis. You don't want to be an Xbox. You don't want to be a Nintendo Switch, honey, just because you switch. Now, he said that he lost the weight, and ironically enough, the relationship still didn't work. So as I said, girl, if he wants you to change something physically, or she, then you need to leave, because he doesn't really want you and it's just not going to work in the long run. So he ends up training one of his friends, who I guess is now becoming a client, Markel, who is another cast member of the show. And apparently we've all seen her face before. I started to make a wish because she has so much foundation. I just knew that I would be able to make a wish, since it was just so much foundation on this face that she claims that everyone has seen before. But I believe she was on another of the Chasing franchises, whether it was Chasing Atlanta, I'm not sure, girl. Y'all gotta go watch, or if you know where you've seen her, because for some reason I live under a rock. I'm like Patrick Star from SpongeBob, and I live right under that rock in Bikini Bottom, and I haven't seen that face. So she comes on and she says she's a producer, a director, a author, a ballet dancer, a jazz musician. She just has all of these different accolades. I said, okay, bitch. And she had her little all red, double-breasted, all the way up to the neck. It was buttons everywhere. Double-breasted military jacket, bitch. I thought she was going to start a band, bitch. I thought she was going to pull out her trombone and the Saints was going to come marching in. And she had that motherfucking double-breasted, white tomato red jacket on. Speaking of tomato red, see, we're going to find out a little later in this talk about fruits and vegetables and their correct colors. But anyways, I digress. Then she starts talking about how she was nationally cheated on. And then after she spoke about all these accolades that she had and how she was so professional, I said, okay, a high collar hoe. Ain't nothing wrong with that. They show her fighting in the club. I guess from Chasing Atlanta, she was in the club fighting and running after some girl, running after her, trying to get her, trying to beat her up. And I said, oh, this is why they calling it Chasing Dallas, because you got Woody Lee. he running on a treadmill, so he chasing the snatch waist. You got Markel, who's chasing after bitches trying to fight him down in the club. So it all makes sense, but I think you guys got to call your PR team so the audience members know exactly why you called it chasing, because I didn't know why, but after this episode now I see. So then we move on to the fabulous B. King, the makeup extraordinaire. I think she was the first bitch to ever do makeup, even before she said she's the RuPaul of makeup. Now I said, bitch, I had this whole episode I kept having to talk to Alexia. If y'all know Alexia, the Amazon Prime little thing, you know, it's similar to Siri. You say Alexia play music. She's upstairs in my room, but I was like, Alexia, who is this hoe and why is she talking about she the RuPaul of makeup, bitch? What is she talking about? She Liz fucking Claiborne. But she did have a lot of foundation, so I made me another wish, as you know, because when you see a bitch with a lot of foundation, bitch, your wishes will come true, because all that foundation, she just got to be able to make a wish. Now, she says she's the only bitch to crack faces. She's the makeup artist who cracks faces. I have to agree with Tony Price, because she said this later in the episode. She said, crack bitch's face. What the fuck does that even mean? But the only thing that bitch cracking is the sanctity of marriage, because the bitch sat up and said that she's happily married, even showcased her husband and showed her husband her new product line, but said that she is still accepting DMs and dick pics on Jacked, even though the bitch is married. Now, a bitch like me sat here and said, now gay people had to get gay bash shot, had to drink 3 gallons of acid and stand outside the White House barefoot for 40 days and 40 nights while it held down on the top of their head so that you can get married. And now that you can get married, you married after these people fought tooth and nail and hammer and wood and upholstery and tile, bitch, the whole Home Depot, so your ass can even have a home to be married in, and you talking about you still accepting Jack eggplant pictures and emojis in your DM, bitch. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. The only shit you cracking is you're cracking the sanctity of gay marriage. But we're gonna move on to the next character. So the next thing you know, we up in a half bathroom Dallas penthouse apartment, right? And out comes this old chocolate fine man. I was like, bro, who is this? And they said his name was Premier. So he premiered, and he wouldn't premiere the dick, I guess, because it was on YouTube. And, you know, YouTube got them guidelines. So he put a little Target towel, you know, the Target green towel. What is it, the Essentials? You know what I'm talking about, sis. You know the Essentials. Don't play Beyonce shop at Target. You seen her in blue. Don't play me. So she wraps it around. She walks in her room, and she says that she's an interior decorator, and that she came to Dallas to pursue her dream. Now, here was my thing. She had all these shoes on the bed. Like, bitch, no, listen to what I'm saying. She had the shoe box with both shoes on top of the shoe box. The bitch had a whole Nordstrom display, the Nordstrom shoe display on her fucking mattress. She had the Margielas, the Rick Owens. She had all the shoes displayed out. And I said, you know what, it makes sense, because you had the first character, Woody Lee, who was chasing treadmills, and the other one was chasing bitches to fight him in a club. And now this bitch, she not necessarily chasing anything, but she gonna show her shoes, because when you run after something, you gotta have a good shoe so it has a good grip. So you gotta have a good toe. So she was saying, I got a good toe, so when I do my chasing in Dallas, you know, it's a Rick Owen, and it go up to a Nick Owen, you know, Alexander Wang peep toe boot, you know what I'm saying? And that's fine. We'll excuse her for displaying the whole Nordstrom mall rack cart on the top of her mattress, because that is a fine young man. So then they have Premier in his car, his little Escalade, which I thought was cute, little cafe latte colored cappuccino Escalade. He pulls up to the scene, and he's on the phone. He pulls out his phone, and he's like, hello, in the car driving. And I'm sitting here like, first of all, you about to crash. Second of all, bitch, it's 2018 and you got a Cadillac. You got all this fringe. She had a fringe shirt on, all this fringe. You got all this fringe connected to the sleeve of your arm, but you couldn't connect that iPhone to the Bluetooth in that Cadillac. Sis, what's the tea? You got to get it together. First, you got these shoes. Then you can't connect. You need to connect. You need to chase a Bluetooth. What the fuck is going on? And she's on the phone with another character that we meet next, named Reese G. Now, Reese is a makeup artist. No, Reese G is a stylist to the elite. Now, I had to pause when the bitch said she was a stylist of the elite, because the bitch said she be styling all the housewives of Atlanta and all the cutting in the ATL holes, and she said the word elite. So I'm like, pause, Alexia, what define elite? Because apparently I need to call Webster, because y'all bitches have been saying these definitions, and I'm like, Webster, either you change the definition or these bitches don't know the correct definition of these words. Because the bitch says she's this elite stylist, but it's crazy because I've never seen a stylist that needed one. But anyway, so Reese's calling Premier to get him to come out to a party. Who's throwing the party? Drum roll, please. Charles, who Woody Lee and Markel was talking about earlier, who stole the money from Woody Lee's snatch waist, bomb body ass, bomb ass nigga. But anyway, so Premier said he couldn't go, so he was like, I hope it's a good time, and he threw a little shade or whatever the case was. But anyways, we move on, and now we're at the party. So Reese G is there, and then we see Charles. Now when we see Charles, I almost had an epileptic seizure from all the sparkles that came through the camera. It was all, she had this blazer on, it was red and black, and it was just all, it was a maze of Swarovski crystals all throughout the whole blazer, bling bling. And I said, you know what, that's it right there. That's what Woody Lee money with. That $1,500 blazer, bitch. You better get that blazer, Woody Lee, and get your money back, girl. You better get that blazer, because that's where your money went, girl. I would have bought that blazer too, right with that money, and not answered your phone, girl. Hold on, I gotta answer my phone. All right, so I'm back. So everyone was at the party out in Dallas that was hosted by the party promoter Charles, who threw an event and stole money from, who steals money from people apparently, so that he can throw events that no one comes to, because nobody was there. Then at the party we were introduced to another character called King Kane, who apparently is another stylist that need one, whose style is unorthodox. I had to pause again. Alexia says, what the fuck is unorthodox? Because see, with fashion, you have to have, fashion has its culture, and it's a statement, it's a movement, it has to have some sort of theme to it. Having a bunch of bobby pins, thumbtacks, spikes, and rhinestones plastered across all this different material, bitch, does not make you an unorthodox stylist, sis. You need to fucking pay it. So she's there, B King's there, Charles is there, Reese G is there, B King is there with her husband, and then she was on her phone on Jack. But anyway, so next thing you know, everybody's introducing themselves, and we have Charles and Reese G who go off to buy a drink. And then we had, well, I hope the drink was free. The nigga was hosting the event. But then again, the nigga might have had to pay for the drink, because he had to change the venues and all this other type of shit that only happens to people who know what they're doing when it comes to event promoting. But I digress. Next thing you know, we have King Kane and B King. We have them talking together, and it turns out that they have someone mutual who knows, who we learn later, a cast member who we learn about later on in the show, Tony Price. Apparently, B King got Tony Price a job because he needed a job and he wanted to be a helping hand. And you know, she has all that foundation on her face, so like make a wish. So she wanted to make Tony Price's wishes come true. After all, with all that makeup, she is a foundation, so she's able to make a wish. So then we have King Kane, who apparently was supposed to work with Tony Price on the gig. I keep wanting to say Kelly Price, who wants to work with Tony Price on a gig. So they ended up working together, and it looked like B King and Tony Price didn't really like B King and King Kane didn't really like Tony too much. They really didn't see it for her. They had a lot of shady comments about how she can't dress and she looks wrinkly. And B King made a comment that she showed up to a booking all wrinkly, and you could see his meat and everything, talking about his dick. Hold that thought, because we're going to come back to that a little bit later. So next thing you know, we have another character, Aubrey, who showed up like late. The party started at 7 and Aubrey shows up at 10:45. So everyone's giving her shade, including Charles, who eventer was, says, you can't come to my event showing up late. Now my thing was, sis, look around, nobody's here. You ought to be glad anybody came, whether it was 15 minutes before it started or 15 minutes before it was over, or bitch, even to the let out in the parking lot, sis. You ought to be glad, and you ought to be motherfucking happy. So while they were outside, they end up Reese G ends up bringing up Tony Price, who he is good friends with, for 8 months. I don't know who the fuck is a good friend with a bitch after 8 months, but anyways, he does her eyebrows. So she brought it up in front of King Kane and B King, and they were kind of throwing shade. So she's like, oh, when I go get my eyebrows done, I'm gonna say, well, I'm basically gonna try to get some tea on what's the tea and why it's so much shade and so much and the energy when I bring up my good friend for 8 months name. Like, bitch, at least make it through the year before you calling somebody your good friend. So Reese G pulls up to, I don't know if it's Tony Price's salon or a salon he works for. I think it's called He Flawless. But no, He Flawless is a YouTuber. It's called something else, some Flawless. Somebody Flawless. And then again, I'm hearing Flawless, and I'm like, Alexia, what the fuck does Flawless mean? Because it cannot mean what these bitches is saying is meaning. So then, Reese G tries to egg Tony on to explain the situation with her and B King. He's like, so do you know somebody named B King? You know, you plant the bait and that's how you get the tea. You plant the bait, you put the worm on the hook, on the rod, put it in the water, and you pull back a big fish. So what happened was, he wasn't trying to dish no tea, which I already knew what happened. If you try to get some tea out your friend and she don't want to tell you, either she was dead ass wrong, or it's somebody that she don't want to tell you about because they low-key either fucked or they low-key was about to. Next thing you know, Tony Price says that they worked on the gig or whatever. He really didn't say too much on the gig, but he said that B King was flirting with him in the comments and in the DM, sending, as he put, wet emojis and emojis like this and emojis like this and kissy emojis and wet emojis. And he said that he flirted back, talking about, even though he married, I'm single. Now, I'm sitting here like, so basically, B King, you don't like Tony because y'all was supposed to fuck, but something happened there that I guess we'll possibly find about later. And you're married, so Tony must have felt some type of way at a certain point, and y'all supposed to be fucking with each other when you tried it. Because I'm sitting here like, bitch, ain't no bitch that generous to give some random person a job for no reason that you don't even know, unless you want to fuck. So that explains it. So there we go with BB King, the bitch that not only cracks faces, cracks the institution of marriage. So at the end of that scene with Reese and Tony in the salon, we have Reese who invites Tony to her adult Easter egg party where everyone's supposed to come, where everyone's seen the climax of the trailer when supposedly Tony and King Kane get into it. But I want to see the read because apparently King Kane got a problem with Tony because King Kane told one of his homegirls to get his face beat by Tony, and Tony allegedly turned her orange. Mind you, Reese told King Kane like, oh, she turned her orange? How orange? That bitch King Kane gonna say, as orange as an apple. Now, hold up, bitch. Now, hold up. I don't know. This bitch says she got an unorthodox style. I don't know what type of unorthodox fruit this bitch eat, but what apple is orange, sis? They even got a line called red apples. They got red apples, green apples, and a mixture between the two. I ain't never seen, I don't know what type of tangerine apples you been fucking eating, bitch, or what fucking school they got in Dallas, bitch. I don't know if all them safety pins, thumbtacks, and yarn you had connected to your arm on that outfit was like an IV and inserted into your veins, and it was fucking up the path for the red blood cells to get to your brain, so you could understand that apples is not orange. I mean, they even called the fruit orange. They named it after the color to make it a little easier, and you still had an issue. But anyways, so far the characters that I'm interested in, I really like Reese G. I like her vibe. I like the way she handles herself. So I'm excited to see how she does this season. I like the eye candy, which is Woody Lee and Premiere. I love the eye candy. I like King Kane, his style, his unorthodox style, but she be giving a little too much. And it looked like at the party she got read for filth by Tony Price, who I'm gonna end up liking, and she read that bitch the correct way, because I would have told you exactly what to say to that bitch. B King, I like the fact that he's entrepreneurial. I don't like the fact that he has an open relationship with his husband, and I would like to see more of his husband's side of that. Is his husband doing the same thing? Why are y'all even married? AIDS is running rapid, and you can only take so many PrEP applications before that shit catch up to your T cells. So girl, play it safe. So I like, they didn't really have too much of Markel in that drumline outfit, but I guess they didn't have too much of her because, you know, we've all seen that face before, so we probably, you know, been tired of seeing it since we've all seen it just so much. So, am I forgetting anybody? They really didn't have too much of Aubrey, but I'm excited for this season. So make sure you guys check it out. I'm gonna be putting it down in the comments so you guys can keep up with it when the next so you can check out episode 1 and you can check out all the other episodes for this season. It looks like it's gonna be a grand Kiki. And it's your boy Flykingi coming to you live from the palace where I sit on my throne and mind your business as long as you stand out of mine. And I'm gonna catch you guys next time. Ta-ta.